Hello, everyone. Today we'll be discussing the character of Sherlock, portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch. Sherlock Holmes is not just a character who solves crimes in the series, but also a champion of rational thinking, logic, and knowledge. Understanding Sherlock's philosophical thoughts is crucial to grasp how he perceives the world and approaches the cases he encounters. Sherlock Holmes' mindset is shaped by rationalism and logic. Rationalism is a philosophical approach that finds the source of knowledge in reasoning and thought. Sherlock's method of analyzing cases always relies on a logical foundation rather than emotions. Although he is often seen as cold and lacking empathy in the series, Sherlock's perspective is rooted in rationality, which makes him unique in solving crimes. When evaluating situations, Sherlock considers not only the available data, but also the connections between these pieces of information. A clue at a crime scene is not just a piece of information for him, but also the key to a larger puzzle. We can relate this approach to Descartes' philosophical proposition, cogito, ergo sum, I think therefore I am. Sherlock constructs his existence and identity through the process of thought. For him, this is not just a method but a way of being. Sherlock Holmes has a highly meticulous approach to knowledge. For him, the value of knowledge is measured by its accuracy and applicability. The phrase, not speculation, but observation, which we often hear in the series, clearly summarizes Sherlock's approach to knowledge. Sherlock's approach to knowledge is also closely related to empiricism. Empiricism asserts that knowledge is acquired through experience and observation. Sherlock always bases his crime solving on observations and the data he gathers. However, here we encounter a paradox. Despite Sherlock's rational and empirical way of thinking, he is sometimes seen to act intuitively. These intuitions can be considered a reflection of his extensive accumulation of knowledge over the years. Sherlock Holmes' understanding of ethics sometimes deviates from general moral rules. In many cases, Sherlock is result-oriented. In other words, he evaluates the morality of an action based on its outcome. This leads us to classify him as a utilitarian in the classical sense. Utilitarianism is an ethical theory that measures the morality of an action by the amount of good it brings to the greatest number of people. However, Sherlock's ethical understanding is not always clear-cut. In the series, we sometimes see the character act in accordance with his personal interests. This can be paralleled with Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, superhuman. Nietzsche argued that the Übermensch could create his own moral codes and act independently of general morality. Similarly, Sherlock, while sometimes acting contrary to societal norms, remains true to his own principles. Existentialism is a philosophical movement that argues that existence precedes essence, meaning that a person first exists and then defines themselves through their actions. When viewed from an existential perspective, Sherlock Holmes continually redefines himself through his actions and choices. For him, life is a series of mysteries to be solved, and each solution further clarifies his identity. Sherlock's existential struggle becomes most evident in the later seasons of the series. His internal questioning of his identity, friendships, and impact on the world shows that he is not just a detective but also a person striving to find himself. Now, let's take a look at the techniques Sherlock uses while solving crimes. The first step in Sherlock Holmes' crime-solving process is his flawless observational ability. The moment he steps onto a crime scene, he immediately notices details that an ordinary observer would miss. Sherlock's observational skills extend beyond physical clues to include analyzing people's behaviors and emotional states. This ability stems from his extraordinary attention to detail and patience. Sherlock's observational skill is the cornerstone of his detective work. For example, a simple footprint or cigarette ash at a crime scene can completely change the course of an investigation for Sherlock. For him, every detail is important and nothing is insignificant. The details he gathers from his observations later combine with logical deductions to form the foundation of his solution. One of Sherlock Holmes' most well-known methods is the deductive reasoning technique. Deduction is the process of deriving specific conclusions from a general rule. Sherlock organizes the data he gathers from his observations within a logical framework and begins to make sense of the events. While using this method, Sherlock uncovers the hidden connections between events. In this process, each clue at the crime scene is linked like a chain. Thus, events that initially seem coincidental come together as a coherent whole through Sherlock's logical deductions. Deduction lies at the heart of his mental abilities and plays a crucial role in his process of understanding events. Another important method Sherlock Holmes uses in solving crimes is mental mapping and the ability to structure information. Sherlock mentally organizes the information he gathers like a map and analyzes the full scope of the crime through this map. This process allows him to utilize his memory and information processing ability at the highest level. These mental maps are the secret behind Sherlock's success in solving complex cases. The ability to process multiple pieces of information simultaneously and analyze the relationships between them is one of the key features that set him apart from other detectives. This skill allows him not only to bring together facts, but also to consider different possibilities regarding these facts. Sherlock Holmes frequently uses technology as well. His knowledge of disciplines like chemistry, biology, and forensic medicine plays a significant role in his crime-solving process. For instance, blood samples, fingerprints, and toxicology are critical in helping Sherlock make sense of the evidence. The laboratory scenes we often see in the series demonstrate Sherlock's commitment to scientific methods and how masterfully he uses them. Scientific data help him solve the physical aspects of cases, while the results obtained from this data become part of the deductive reasoning process. Sherlock not only uses scientific data, but also questions its accuracy and reliability. One of the most striking elements in Sherlock Holmes' crime-solving process is his intuitive intelligence. While Sherlock operates with rational thinking and scientific methods on one hand, he also relies on his intuition. These intuitions are insights that suddenly emerge as he analyzes events based on his observations and accumulated knowledge. Intuitive intelligence allows Sherlock to make quick decisions and reach the right conclusion in unexpected situations. This often gives the impression that he is inspired or suddenly reaches the correct conclusion. However, these intuitions are nourished by years of accumulated knowledge and experience. Therefore, Sherlock's intuitive intelligence is essentially the result of subconscious analysis. Perhaps the most impressive part of Sherlock Holmes' crime-solving process is the dramatic way he presents his conclusions. Sherlock brings together all the clues and logical deductions, explaining how the event occurred as if performing on a theater stage. This narrative process not only solves the case, but also draws the audience into the story and highlights the complexity of the event. Sherlock's style ensures that cases are not only concluded with logical resolution, but also presented in a compelling and memorable way. This shows that he operates not only as an analytical detective, but also as a kind of performance artist. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any questions about Sherlock or other series, feel free to leave them in the comments. See you in the next video.